I'm Hef with play-by-play from the beautiful SM Threat Intelligence Center here at SecurityMetrics. From time to time, we release Noah from his cyber cage, and we did that this past week. Give him some time off. So we got a guest host. It's Kaden, the House of Cyber Payne. Kaden, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Hey, everybody. I'm Kaden, just filling in for Noah this week. I'm a threat hunter here at SecurityMetrics. Glad to be here. All right, Hef, so I got to ask, what's with the Indiana Jones getup?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. You know, we do a lot of cyber threat hunting, and this past week, I was actually out, folks. I was hunting fossils. So, I'll tell you, Kaden, it was really cool, man, because there's a lot of similarities between hunting cyber bad guys and hunting fossils. I was part of this really cool group, but man, it was awesome experience. I'm glad to be back, man. It's been a long time since we did this recording. It's been like 4 weeks. We got a lot of top stories, folks, and with Kaden here, we're gonna drop some crazy stories. Amazon shopping scams. You know, it's Prime Day. By the time you watch this video, Prime Day will be over. Man, that should be like a national holiday. Like,
dude, it should be.
They should be giving us off for Prime Day, man. All right, we're gonna talk about all the shopping scams that are going on out there. Disneyland got hacked, the social media part.
Yeah, they did.
We got to talk about that. A lot of fake Cisco hardware going on, and this guy got arrested. We got to talk about that story. A lot of people love their Honda cars, and I think maybe 4 weeks ago we talked about Tesla cars being hacked, but now Honda can be hacked as well. We got to talk about that. Drones are hackable. Man, everything's hackable, man. And this crazy story out of Japan, a lost Japanese USB drive is one of our other top stories. Kindly hit the like button and, of course, wait for that bell notification. We're coming to you from the lodge here at the beautiful base of the Silicon Slopes. Our goal is to try to help you with the changing threat landscape, take that intelligent approach to cybersecurity, and, of course, see the threats you've been missing. Hey, Kaden, man, hit him with that tagline, baby.
And remember, never have a false sense of security.
Do you like Amazon Prime Day? I mean, do you celebrate it like the rest of us do?
Oh, yeah. You know, it should be a national holiday.
It should be a national. I'm thinking everybody should have off on that day. But, there's a lot of scams going on out there. And I'm hearing so many people getting phishing emails from folks that are pretending they're from Amazon Prime. The big thing is this credential harvesting, where these bad guys are going in and they're just trying to steal your credentials to try to get access to your Amazon Prime account. The one thing that has been out there is these Amazon gift cards. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I have. It's super interesting.
Yeah, these surveys is what I'm hearing. Is what people are getting is, hey, fill out the survey and we'll hook you up with an Amazon gift card. So if you happen to get anything like that in your inbox, definitely ignore it. But there's a lot of other things out there, Kaden, that people can do to stop from being hacked by Amazon. Specifically these scammers. The big thing out there is a list, and we put together a little short list to try to help people. Can you believe that Amazon is the most impersonated business out there?
I mean, they're absolutely huge. I mean, yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, so I think it was the 2021 Better Business Bureau put out a report, and they said, who is getting scammed the most? Like, which businesses are being impersonated the most? And we found that Amazon is that company. And there's a lot of things you can do. Can you kind of walk the audience through, Kaden, some of the tips and tricks in order to stop from being hit by these attackers, these threat actors?
Yeah. So, I mean, first, when you go into a website, make sure, is it a secure page? Do you see that little green HTTPS symbol up at the top? If you don't, please don't type anything in. Yeah, that lock symbol too. Some browsers have a little lock symbol next to it. When you see the HTTPS and the lock symbol, you're going to be okay. Potentially okay.
Yeah, potentially. Of course, the phishing emails, the text. I mean, what's the most common phishing email out there? Is it like payment stuff, like update your payment information?
I think so, or your account's been hacked, click here right now. Anything really just to get that sense of urgency going, to get somebody to click right here and right now. Yeah, I noticed a lot of people have been telling me that they get these fake shipping tracking emails, right? Oh, your Amazon order's been shipped and track, and then they click on that link and boom, they've been popped. So
You can always hover over links, hover over the email address, make sure that it is confirmed from Amazon. The reality though is Amazon is not going to call you. They're not typically going to be the one reaching out trying to get you to disclose or verify any sort of personal information, sensitive information. Especially the one that I always see a lot too is fake emails about a refund. Oh, your order's been refunded. Like, what are we talking about? I'm not expecting no refund. So that's another big one out there. I always try to pay with my credit card when I use Amazon, not my debit card, so you can contest the charges. That's why. Leaving packages, a lot of people, they leave packages on their porch and they don't know that their package arrived. They're not tracking their packages, so never leave a package unattended. And of course, the big one out there is these brushing scams. Have you heard of this term, brushing?
I haven't. What are those?
Well, brushing scams are kind of unique in that what happens is some of these Amazon sellers are literally sending you products that you didn't order. All right.
Okay.
Do you know why they're doing that?
No.
They want you to write a review. So they send you this package you didn't order. It's called a brushing scam. And the next thing you know is they're asking you, there's a note in there in that package. Hey, please leave a glowing online review. Leave the most amazing review and you can keep the product just like that.
Oh.
Pretty wild, huh? So there's our tips, folks. Those are the most common tips. Again, please be aware, Amazon Prime Day just happened. It's over. But there's still folks out there shopping on Amazon. We all love Amazon. But you need to be aware it is one of the most impersonated businesses out there. And it's definitely an area that threat actors are going after. All right, so we've got a lot of cyber news going on. I know you're excited about this stuff, man. I am too. Disneyland. Do you like Disneyland?
I do. Love it.
Man, a lot of people love Disneyland, and this guy named David Doe. Can you kind of explain to the audience what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, so there's this guy, David Doe. According to him, he is a super hacker, and he's here to bring revenge upon Disneyland.
Whoa. Oh. Super hacker, man. Who calls himself a super hacker, right? But this guy did that, and the thing that caught my attention about this is he was really upset. His perception is that employees at Disneyland were kind of making fun of him, right? And there might be some legitimacy to this. I don't know, right? But the guy wanted revenge. And can you tell the audience exactly what he did? He went after which social media accounts?
So he went after their Instagram account. He got into that and then put out just a really inappropriate, just message, just railing against Disney and the employees there. Specifically, Jerome.
I didn't know that. No, I did not.
No, yeah.
I did not know that. I will say we're going to put up a screenshot right now and take a look at this. The part that got me is if you scroll down, I put a red arrow on here, and hopefully our director can get this in. Please get rid of the Genie Plus while you're here. All right. Hey, dude, get rid of Genie Plus right here. Genie Plus is that system that's replaced FastPass.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought that was kind of funny, but you know what's scary about this is all of the people that subscribe to the Disneyland Instagram account. I heard something like 8.3 million people could have potentially seen this message that this David Doe guy put out there, which is shocking in itself, right? I mean, you're talking about kids, children that are seeing this crazy message. And then the likes, like in 41 minutes that this message got posted on Disneyland's Instagram account. And it also, folks, it got posted on Facebook too. The Disneyland Facebook account, 2,591 people liked this guy's message, which is surreal, right? There's a lot, though, to be learned. Lesson learned from this, right? Managing your account. I mean, how do you protect your social media accounts? What are some things that you do?
Well, first thing, two-factor authentication for everything.
Yeah.
At the bare minimum, just SMS. Having that text come in, even though it's not the best, there are better ways of doing it. But just having that in itself, someone's going to need your phone to get into that account.
Yeah, that's important. It's amazing. We were all talking here at the Security Operations Center and the Threat Intelligence Center. How did this actually happen? And we're waiting for some attribution on what actually went down. I mean, how was David Doe, super hacker David Doe, able to get access to their Instagram and Facebook accounts at Disneyland? We still don't know. But there are some pathways that it could have happened. But the bottom line, though, is the revenge piece of this. I mean, you're talking about damage, reputation. How do you recover from something like this is pretty damaging when you know that your Instagram account, Facebook account is not secure.
Yeah, and something else that's scary. I mean, he instead of just putting out this whole revenge plot, he could have put out his own phishing scam.
Yeah, wow, that's a good point.
And it was coming from a legit source. There would be no way to tell that it was, it's not an official message.
Yeah, almost like if I was a threat actor, I'd put out an email. I would put out a post that says something like, hey, folks, for the next 48 hours, click on this link to get a free one-day pass to Disneyland. And the next thing you know, that phishing credential, they're just phishing like that. So nasty, nasty stuff. And again, this is unbelievable that this happened to this huge media conglomerate that a lot of people love. A lot of people love Disneyland. So what keeps you up at night, Kaden?
Well, what keeps me up now is the fact that I might be getting fake Cisco hardware.
Oh, man. This story was blowing my mind. The fact that all this fake Cisco hardware, and we've known about this for years, that there are people importing fake Cisco hardware into the country, but this guy got caught. And the guy was essentially doing what?
Yeah, so there was a guy named Ron, also known as Dave. He got arrested July 8th. He was selling counterfeit Cisco networking devices. Apparently what they do is people in China would take old equipment and then repackage it and make it look new, like newer devices, and sell them as the new devices.
This guy was a Florida man. You ever done that Florida man thing? He's Ron from Florida, a.k.a. also known as Dave. Florida man story where you take your birthday and then you put in Florida man and then it comes back with some crazy news story that happened on your birthday. You ever done that?
I have, yeah. There's some crazy things that happen on my birthday.
Yeah, man. And here we go. Ron from Florida. The stories are always crazy out of Florida. $100 million in revenue this guy had made selling counterfeit Cisco hardware. He had just been importing all this stuff from China and Hong Kong. But you know what caught my eye on this story, Kaden, is the number of businesses this guy had. Like 19 different companies across New Jersey, Florida, 10 eBay storefronts, 15 Amazon storefronts, potentially up to $1 billion in retail value of all this hardware. Why is this so damaging? Why is it bad to buy fraudulent hardware?
I mean, you're expecting, hardware from the source. You're expecting hardware to be clean and pure and, be what you buy. But we know when you're getting counterfeit hardware, that's not the case.
Yeah. I mean, you could potentially have not being able to get updates for the hardware, functionality problems, performance problems, safety issues. What we understand is most of these models, like you mentioned, were older models that were modified or enhanced with this counterfeit stuff. But what I'm thinking about, what the lesson learned for me, man, is Amazon and eBay doing more to stop this kind of stuff. And I know they have programs and processes in place. But Kaden, what really bothers me about this story is the fact that there had to be people complaining. Like there had to be people leaving notices like, hey, I bought this device, I bought this Cisco product, and boom, man, I'm not able to do updates on it. I'm not able to make it work. I'm going to report you to Amazon and eBay, and you guys need to, at some point, catalog all these counterfeit reports and then do something about it. Like, why does it take so long is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, and that brings up a really interesting point, especially in the case of eBay, because anyone can be on eBay. You can, like me having an online garage sale to actual businesses, and they all get vetted in the same way.
Yeah.
So that kind of begs the question, how or what could they do and how could they do it that it can affect everybody equally and not mess up the platform they have set up. So I'd actually kind of want to put this one to the audience.
Yeah.
Please leave a comment. We know what processes would you put in place?
Yeah,
to help stop this.
And that's the part I'm also concerned about is if you're a business out there and you're trying to save a buck and you're like, oh man, look at this. I found this really cheap Cisco switch on eBay. I'm going to go buy it right now. And then you haven't done your due diligence. So yeah, please leave a like in the comment. Let us know how you vet hardware before you bring it in your environment. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts. So all right, let's talk about some other stories going on right now. Is Honda, man, again, dude, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, Tesla was in the news about being able to, unlock the car and start the car remotely. And now we have Honda in the news. Can you kind of explain to the audience what is actually going on here? These are called rolling PWN attacks. What does that mean? Rolling own attacks.
Yeah, rolling own attacks or rolling pwn, depending how you like to pronounce it.
Yeah.
But they have a mechanism that allows the car to be unlocked. And sometimes, you have the remote start going from an attacker.
Yeah. And as we understand it, these rolling code mechanisms that are in your key fobs is what the vulnerability is tied to. And these security researchers, they came out and they investigated it, and they found that these entry systems into Honda automobiles and these rolling codes have a pseudo random number generator. And it's that algorithm that is not basically being reset. And when these key fobs are looking at the counter, it's looking at the chronologically order of the generated codes. And the bottom line is you're expecting a new code to be generated in the key fob, and that wasn't happening. Non-chronological codes were not being accepted. So these guys figured this out, and I found the story interesting in that Honda did not have a way for these researchers to report the bug bounty. Like, hey, I found this vulnerability. The only way for them to report it was through like Honda customer service. Which, which basically means it's getting like thrown into like a garbage bin. You know, like that Walmart, those DVD bins, like $5 DVDs. That's basically where that message got thrown. So Honda did not initially see this message about these man-in-the-middle replay attacks. And it wasn't until it made it in the news, and then Honda put out this crazy announcement, and they were like, "Hey, man, we're not vulnerable to this. There's nothing to see here, nothing to worry about." They initially denied the claims that people have nothing to worry about. So fast forward in time, just the other day, as of this recording, Honda actually put out a response. Honda says, "Hey, you know what? It is technically possible, Kaden. But I love these kind of messages. We want to reassure our customers this particular kind of attack, it does require close proximity signal capturing of the RF transmissions. And by the way, you won't be able to drive the vehicle away. And that is true, that part of it. But I think they're downplaying this. We're going to see more of this, Kaden. It's not just Tesla and Honda. It's all of these car manufacturers that have these randomly generated codes for their key fobs that are going to be impacted by this. All right, another story in the news is drones. Do you own a drone?
I don't. I've always wanted one, though.
Yeah, me too. Our director has a drone, and he loves it. And he's about to find out some really bad news. This Express LRS protocol allows the takeover of drones, right? You can hack a drone. All right, so how this works is there's this protocol. It's called the Express LRS protocol. A lot of drones have it, and it allows you to basically have that high performance, maximum range capability with your drone. And what these researchers were able to figure out is that there are deep security issues, vulnerabilities in the binding phase. That means when you're trying to get an identifier to connect the receiver back to the transmitter, that is the piece of the equation that can be attacked. So really, it's a brute force attack at the end of the day. And if the attackers can discover that part of the identifier that connects the receiver to the transmitter, they can then take over your drone. Very, very dangerous stuff. And the fact that this is getting out there, and the fact that it's in the research phase is very, very helpful. There's a lot of drones out there. You know, the big concern obviously is drones that would be compromised, be hacked, potentially flown into restricted airspace. I know, like right now, the story that I always see on the news is these fires that are being put out here in the Western United States, and drones are being flown to get shots of these fires. Okay. And the fact is that they can disrupt the flight paths of the planes that are trying to drop water to put out the fires. So big concern here with this Express LRS protocol being taken over and your drone being hacked. Bad stuff. We'll keep you updated as this story progresses through the news. Another story going on right now is Apple. Do you like your Apple phone?
I do. I am an iPhone man all the way.
You are an iPhone man? I'm an Android guy. And hey, we're not going to get in a battle about that. But I thought this was cool, man. A lockdown mode.
That was really cool. This is Apple's response to zero-click exploits, which really, it's a cyber attack for an iPhone where there's no defense. You know, either you'll get a text and that has malware in it, and just by getting the text, you're infected. That's it.
Wow, so you're telling me that malware can be loaded to an iPhone, malware payload can be loaded to an iPhone without any interaction from the user?
Yeah.
And that's zero click. So what is actually lockdown mode? Because this sounds like this would be really helpful for people that want to stop this type of attack on their phone.
Yeah, so this is a operating mode where it's specifically designed for people that think that, hey, I'm going to be targeted or am being targeted by one of these attacks. Now, what it does is it really just severely limits the features of the iPhone itself.
So it cripples the iPhone, the iPads, any Mac OS powered device?
Yeah. And it just takes it to a bare bones, like, hey, basically you're turning it back into just a phone,
A dumb phone. Yeah. This is actually really cool. It's in beta mode right now, which means Apple said potentially they're going to release lockdown mode in the fall of this year, which I think is going to be really cool. I hope a lot of people adopt it and start using it because so many people just don't care. And I think this is a great tool to have. In fact, all phones should have lockdown mode at some point.
I think they should, yeah.
Give you that option at least, on or off, right? Months ago, man, I want to say back in February, Microsoft announced that they were going to stop all Visual Basic macros from inside Office from being turned on. And now they're changing tune. Before we tell you why they're changing tune, why we think they're changing tune, can you explain what a Visual Basic macro is inside Office?
Yeah, just a macro is just a recorded function that, it's just automated and it makes your life easy by doing things for you, so you're not like clicking the same things over and over and over and over.
So how could a threat actor take advantage of these? Like if I had Microsoft Excel or Word and these macros were turned on, how could they possibly take advantage of that?
Well, it's not just things within Office that you can do. You can create different system calls. So there are ways that you can open reverse shells with these Office macros, and you can get connections to computers. You can exfil data out of them.
So if I was a threat actor and I had sent you a phishing email with an Office attached document, right, like a Microsoft Word document, and there's a macro in there and it did a call out to some malware, you're telling me that if I had these things automatically turned on, I could potentially just automatically download the payload to my computer.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Whatever they put in there, it's just going to automatically run if you have it set to that.
Yeah. So what Microsoft was doing is they said, well, we're going to turn this thing off. Now, we in the security community, we rejoiced. It was like, right? And now people were complaining. They're like, you crippled my Office. I can't use Microsoft Office. This sucks, man. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. So Microsoft now is backtracking. They're like, man, we're gonna stop this. We're gonna enable them by default. And the cool thing is, though, I mean, you could still block these internet macros through the group policy settings. So if you're an IT manager or director, you can still have that stuff turned on. But what I'm wondering is why? Why all of a sudden? Is it all the complaints that people made, and that's why they're enabling these Office macros from being turned on? But they're restoring the feature, and it's coming back, folks. Maybe by early as this fall, it'll be turned back on. Some gaslighting. I know you love this segment, folks. We've been doing this segment for a long time. What are things that get you fired up? This is the stuff, man, that gets us fired up behind the scenes in the cyber community. This employee, man, you were the first to tell me about this story, this Japanese guy with losing the USB drive. Can you kind of tell the audience exactly what's going on?
Yeah, so there was a Japanese city worker. He leaves work carrying a USB flash drive containing very personal details of almost every resident of the city.
Wow.
Yeah. He starts a day drinking, gets a little tipsy, loses it.
He lost the flash drive.
Lost the flash
with
drive.
all of the city, all the people, all the residents of the city, all the personal details.
Yes.
So we're talking like names, addresses, dates of birth, tax details. Mm-hmm. I heard something like 460,000 people were on this USB drive.
Yeah, lots of people.
Whoa, man. So did they recover the drive? That's the most important thing.
I've heard that they have.
Yeah. I've heard that too, and I have not seen any follow-up stories in the news about this. But imagine, I mean, this employee was handling tax-exempt households, like benefits for tax-exempt households. So we're not talking like people with maybe high net worth, maybe, I don't know. But the fact is, I mean, 460,000 people, an entire city's worth of data, just like that, gone. Just crazy, man. So what are the lessons learned here? I mean, obviously, in cybersecurity, we're kind of like, I don't want to be the police department. I want to do what's best for the business, but maybe these employees should not have access to plugging in USB drives into the company computers. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah. And also, if you're going to carry mission critical data, let's not party while we're doing that.
Right. I mean, this is the crown jewels of this city in Japan. And the fact that this guy lost it, man, I'd be heartbroken,
No, me too.
Yeah, I just can't believe it. And then you tack in the alcohol-fueled night out, right? And he just passes out on a city bench somewhere and loses this drive. It's just a crazy, nutty story, folks, all right? A couple other stories going on, too, is ransomware Black Hat. The Black Hat ransomware gang we've talked about Black Hat Ransomware Gang before as part of our newscast, but what I found interesting, man, is they're doing now something different. And the difference is they're having a searchable database with all the leak data from the non-paying victims.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Can you kind of see? I'm going to try to paint a picture here.
Yeah.
Imagine you go on the dark web, you go to one of these ransomware gang stores, and it's not just Black Hat that's doing it. It's a bunch of different gangs. But now you have a fully indexed, searchable feature. You've got support for finding file names, breached victims, content, documents, images. You can now search, just like using Google, but now you can do it inside these dark web ransomware gang stores. Pretty fascinating stuff, making it so much easier for cyber criminals to find passwords, to find that confidential information. It's crazy stuff. Now, another thing that's going on here is the way it happened in the past. Now, if you were a threat actor in the past, the way you'd have to do it is you would download a gigantic, I'm talking massive file of everything to your local computer, and then you start to go through that data. Now, what's happening is these ransomware gangs are just making it fully indexable, searchable, just like a Google search engine of all these non-paying victims. Makes it so much easier for the threat actor. If you know, hey, these people haven't paid, now I can very quickly go in and say, I found this data. I can quickly target who I'm going after. Their time to market is what the challenge is here. The time to market for these ransomware gangs is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And now that they have search capabilities, it's just crazy how they're improving their product. Another story is LinkedIn. Man, these fake job offers on LinkedIn was how Axie Infinity got breached. Do you remember this story a couple months ago?
I don't think so. Give me a recap.
Yeah, so we're talking a $540 million hack of this company called Axie Infinity's Ronin Bridge. This happened back in March of 2022. What was interesting, though, is how it all went down. And now the news is starting to fall out. We're starting to figure out exactly what happened. And basically, employees were getting tricked with fraudulent job offers on LinkedIn. And they do multiple interviews, and this engineer gets this job offer with this really crazy compensation package. But where the threat actor got smart is in the offer letter, in the offer document, that is where the malware got deployed. Okay. And that is how the threat actor got into Axie Infinity's environment. Can you imagine that? I think that's a brilliant way to attack. Use LinkedIn, do interviews on LinkedIn, and then send out an offer letter that has malware in it. I mean, it's a lot of work to do, but man, brilliant. And it is, by the way, Axie Infinity, one of the largest crypto companies, largest hacks to date that we know of, $540 million.
Wow.
That's how much this guy got. Unbelievable. And our last story for the day is OPM. This is the facepalm one. Now, for you, I don't know if you remember back in 2014 and 2015 when this breach happened, but it was all over the news. Do you remember anything about OPM?
I remember just a little bit about it.
Yeah,
but I do know that some family friends of mine, they were directly affected by this.
Yeah, especially if you were now OPM is the Office of Personal Management. I had a lot of friends that worked at the FBI and CIA and the NSA, and they all got involved in this. And it wasn't just one breach, dude. It was like two breaches, 2014, 2015. We're talking any federal government employee, contractor, anybody that worked for an agency has to go through a background check. And all that information got breached. Now, it was attributed to a Chinese spy, but I've actually heard stories from some FBI friends that all this information that was extracted and exfiltrated out of this breach was basically set up in a, I don't know what you want to call it, a Facebook type setup in China. So they literally had a searchable database of all these employees of the U.S. government, all these contractors you see their photo, you see all their background.
Wow.
I remember my one friend was telling me that, he was trying to buy a truck and all his information from buying that truck was in this Facebook Chinese site from OPM. So pretty fascinating stuff. Where the story gets wild is they combine the two breaches into one class action lawsuit. So 2014, 2015, now one class action, and it finally settled. $63 million settlement. 26 million people had their information leaked. And congratulations, you're going to get a check for $700. That's it.
Woohoo.
Yeah, unbelievable, guys. This story was huge back in the day, and they were still hearing about it years later. Unbelievable. shocked that it happened back then, and I'm to this day I'm still shocked that we're still talking about it. But again, a lot of great lessons learned here, and the federal government since that moment in time has done a lot to try to protect employees' information. So thank you for joining us. We're glad to be back in the cockpit here. You can always subscribe online, check out our website, hit the like button, and wait for that bell icon. Kaden, man, thanks for joining me, dude. Thanks for filling in for Noah.
No, thanks for having me, man. Love being here.
I hope you had a good time. And as always, I'm Hef.
I'm Kaden.
Thanks for having us.